Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel, and welcome to AI, machine learning and large language model tutorials. In this video tutorial, I will explain how to install and run on your local computer GPT for free. Namely, GPT4free is a collection of powerful language models such as O3 Mini, DeepSeek, as well as other models. In fact, here is the graphics user interface, and if you click here, you can see all the supported models. These are the most popular models, and if you scroll down, you will also see the image generation models. So what is the most attractive thing for GPT for free? Well, as the name suggests, apparently you can access most of the models for free. Now, how is this thing realized in practice? I'm not 100% sure. However, from what I've read online, it seems that this program is using indirect approaches to access the most popular models. For example, here I tested the model inside of this graphics user interface. I asked several questions. For example, who are you? And you can see here DuckDuckGo AI chat with GPT provided this answer. Then I asked how to solve a quadratic equation. Then again, DuckDuckGo AI chat with GPT-4 generated this answer, etc. Then I tested text to image generation. Over here I selected, instead of GPT-4, Flux, which is a very popular program for text to image generation, and I asked Flux to generate a photo of the cat, and you can see the photo of the cat. You can simply save it, simple as that, and you can do all sorts of things. Then I tested even the Flux Dev version and Flux Pro version, which are more advanced versions, and literally the most advanced Flux version in several seconds returned this, and you can see what is being used. So if you click here, let me do the right click, Pollinations AI, this is probably the website used for these type of models. Before we start with installation, here is one very important comment. Those of you who are my subscribers and who follow my work know by now that I usually cover and make videos about large language models that can be installed and run locally on your computer. Well, this model is actually not running locally, or to be more precise, only the graphics user interface is running locally. However, this graphics user interface and program is sending requests to servers which are running large language models. That is, since this program doesn't have API, it uses some form of backdoor to access different large language models online. And in that sense, this program is not running locally. Then there are a number of issues over here, and I'm not going to criticize and I'm not going to convince you to completely switch to running large language models on your local computer. However, keep in mind that the privacy and protection of information is here a big issue. So be careful what you're writing. Now, there are several approaches for installing GPT for free. In this video tutorial, I'm going to use an approach that is based on Docker, since it's very simple. However, there are also other approaches. For example, you can download an executable file and you can run it on your Windows computer. Okay, let's start with installation. First of all, you need to install Docker engine on your system. To do that, you can watch this video tutorial I created, and I'm going to provide a link in the description below. Okay, the next step is to open a terminal. And over here, I'm going to resize this terminal and at the same time bring the commands that you need to type. I will also provide a link to these commands in the description below. First of all, let's go to the home folder, and over here in the home folder, let's create a folder called test GPT. Then I'm going to navigate to this folder, and inside of this folder, I'm going to execute two commands. First of all, I'm going to create two folders. Let's make sure we created them. Here they are. And then I'm going to run this command. Okay, good. Here you need to enter the password and we are all set. We just need to pull the Docker image and container, and then we need to run it. To pull the Docker image and the container, we need to run this docker pull HLOHAUS 789 G4free, and that's it. And now you need to be patient. It's going to take a while to download everything. And then after some time you will see this message. This means that the image is properly downloaded. You can list all the images on your system by typing this, and you will see that you have only a single image, and this is our program. Next, if you type docker ps-a, you will list all the running containers on your system. You don't have anything on your system, and you need to start the container. To start the container, you need to execute this command that spans several lines. Here we are running a Docker container from this image over here. Note that this image name should match this name over here, and over here we are specifying the port numbers. Let's briefly explain what's written over here before we execute it. First of all, this -p option, that is this option over here, is used to expose the ports that are used for the image instance. Let us explain the numbers. For example, if you see something like this, the first number, that is this number over here, is used to access the container outside the container. That is, to access our container and the program, we will go in a web browser, we will type something localhost, and we will provide this port number. And the second number is used the application. That is, the application is running on this particular port. You can change, for example, this number, and it can be different from this number. Then this second option refers to the amount of shared memory that is assigned to a Docker container. Here we specify 2 gigs. Then we have this option over here. The v or volume argument to Docker is for creating storage space inside of container that is separated from the rest of the container. And note over here that we have created several folders over here, and this is how we manage them. This is a way of either feeding information into our container or providing a way from our container to make files accessible to the host. As mentioned previously, I'm going to provide a link to these commands. So let's enter them, and let's press enter, and let's wait for a while. And now we see over here something is happening. Here is where we are running our container and our program, and that's precisely this port over here. Okay, now you have several ways to start the program. One approach is to press Ctrl and to click here, and another approach is to simply copy this address into your web browser. Here, make sure while copying this address that you don't press Ctrl-C, since this will close everything. So simply select, do copy, go to the web browser, and over here paste this and press enter. And here we are. So let's open a chat. Here we are, and over here we can adjust several things. First of all, over here you can select the model and you can select the provider over here. So let's ask a question over here. Who are you? So let's see what happens, and let's send this, and we can see what happens. And you can see I'm an AI language model created by OpenAI, designed to assist with a wider range of questions and topics by providing information. Good. So let's ask a question: how to solve a quadratic equation? And let's give equation, for example, x squared plus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So let's see what happens. You see what we are running, DuckDuckGo AI chat with GPT-4, and you can see how the solution is being generated. And then you can play with different models and different things over here. Okay, let's now try to generate an image. So over here you need to click, and let's use, for example, Flux. So over here you have Flux image generation. However, if you scroll down, you also have a more advanced version of Flux. Because Flux comes in the basic form, which is Schnell, then you have Dev, and you have Pro. Let me try this Pro option and to see what will happen. Generate a photo, a realistic photo of tiger, for example, and let's see what will happen. Okay, so you see what's happening. Pollinations AI with Flux Pro. So let's see how long will it take to generate everything. Usually if you're running everything on your local computer, it might take even maybe several minutes to generate this image. And you can see this photo, you can save this photo, you can save it in your downloads folder, and you can play with this photo later on. Let's try some other models, such for example DALL-E 3, and let's repeat this thing. Generate a realistic photo of a tiger. So let's do it over here and let's run it, and let's see what will happen. And you see what's being called Microsoft Designer. Interesting. So let's see what will happen. Okay, this is real time. Will it be faster or not? Let's see. And after a minute or two, you can see that still DALL-E is not responding. This is probably due to the fact that the website or the server is quite busy. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's stop generating over here and let's try something else. For example, for image generation, we have Flux. Let's try Mid-Journey. And let's repeat the same thing. And let's press enter and let's see what will happen. How long will it take to generate an image of a tiger? And again, let's wait. And literally it takes maybe 5 to 10 seconds to generate the image. These two images are almost the same. That is, the quality is almost the same. Now let's look into the settings. If you click here, you will see enable dark mode. You have two modes. You have, for example, web access with DuckDuckGo. So let's turn this and let's test the web access. And then you can see all sorts of things over here. You can see speech recognition language. You can even ask this program to recognize your voice. And then you can see your custom provider and you can see all sorts of things. So let's try the web access with DuckDuckGo. And if you type search for the best model predictive control tutorials online, you will see a list of tutorials. And guess what? You will actually see this tutorial. And who is this person? Alexander Haber. Yes, this is the person who created this video tutorial. And you'll see two of my tutorials are recommended, which is a nice thing. So, by the way, I have a PhD degree in control theory, and I spend a lot of time creating free resources for control engineers. And I'm glad that this program recognizes some of my tutorials.